Hey everybody, DM Jim here, and welcome to a new episode of the Tabletop Engineer. Every Wednesday night, I am the DM at my local gaming store. Actually, I'm one of 4 DMs that we each have a table between 6 and 7 players, and I enjoy it. I love being a DM. Over the past year, I have operated without a DM screen. I don't want one. I like not having that shield between me and the players. I roll in the open, just like they do, and I tend to keep my notes and things in a little notebook that I reference when I need it, and it keeps the game moving fairly quickly. Well, probably in the last month or so, I have made some changes to how I DM. I'm trying to reduce my clutter at the table. I don't like to have to dig through a book. I don't like flipping pages. I want to make a quick decision. I want to get back to the game. For this reason, I have been looking at ways to jog my memory better and just help me keep the game moving without referencing notes and things like that. So, a friend of mine, Michael Harrison, who writes for Geek Dad, I remembered that well over a year or two ago, he wrote an article about a piece of software he used to run his games when he was a DMs, and it kept everything in one spot and one page and all. It's an app called Trello, Trello. I downloaded it to my iPad, started playing with it and using it, and I discovered that Michael was onto something. Keeping all of my notes in one page that is all touch sensitive, touch something, it opens up, touch it, it closes down. It definitely is pretty slick. And so I tried it at a couple of games recently and it worked. But I need to have it flat on the table, and I don't want it visible to my players. So that means possibly going back to a DM screen, and I don't want to do that. What I am willing to do is make a compromise. I think a shorter, very short screen that is very small, that just enough to cover my iPad and keep it out of the view of my players, might be worthwhile. So I took that, I ran with it, and I've come up with something that I hope you're going to like, because I can't wait to use it. It is a mini DM screen that looks like a spell book. Let's get to the tabletop, and I will explain how I made this, show you how I made it, and I'll explain some of the benefits of it. Before I show you how to make this, I want to show you what its foundation is made of. Now, you'll notice I've got a little leather strap here. Oops, got to glue that back on. When it opens up, this is what it looks like. Not a lot of space, just a little bit here, and it's only 3.5 inches tall. What these 4 pieces are, I got them from Home Depot. I'm sure Lowe's carries these. They are little, these are not wood, they're made out of particle, what do they call this? MDF. And it's just for fake wood flooring. And these are 3.5 by 5 inches. Okay, right there. 3.5 by 5 inches. Now they come in different thicknesses. This one looks to be about 3/8 of an inch, maybe closer to a half. This looks more like 1/4 of an inch. I recommend the 3/8 inch, not the thinner version. Can you see the thickness difference here? You can obviously use whichever one you want, but let me tell you, these thicker ones, if you look at this from above, you'll see that one side of it has a little notch here, and this side has a notch and a bump and a notch. These are examples of how these things fit together, but this is your problem. The fact that it has a notch on one side and the other side is gonna catch you if you don't know how to fix that issue. These do not have that issue. Let me show you what they have. They have just a single groove down the center, and you can fill that with a piece of chipboard or maybe some putty that would harden. And that's what I did underneath these leather straps. So just keep that in mind as I'm showing you how I made this, that I'm using the thicker one, not the thinner. And if you go to Home Depot and grab some of these, they are free, but don't grab 1,000 of them. Grab what you need. 4 of them to make one of these. And, because these probably do cost them a little bit of money, but they are given out for free. So grab you 4 of them, come home, watch this video, and make yourself one of these. Let's see how this was made. I began this project by taking two of the little squares and using Gorilla Tape to connect them. I made a 4-panel DM screen. So you can see here I'm just sort of sizing things up, trying to get the folds done properly. The idea is that it will look like a book. There will be 2 outer covers, and 2 of the inner pieces will act as the pages. I started out by cutting a pattern that I would use to cut out the leather. And I basically padded the size of everything by about 1/8 of an inch. So this thing is 3.5 by 5 inches. I just added 1/8 of an inch to all the dimensions, including the edges, which were about 3/8 of an inch. I used this chipboard template to cut out 4 pieces of leather, and then I used glue to adhere the leather to the pieces. Now, depending on the glue you use, this may take a while. This project actually took about 4 days, mainly because I was using styro goo, which does really well on wood and apparently leather. I didn't want to use hot glue because it adds like a thickness to it. What you're going to see here is just me gluing and trimming and gluing and cutting, and basically just gluing all of the little leather flaps to the various edges to simulate the cover of a book while leaving the inner pages, so to speak, blank. You can see right here I'm just taking the edges, gluing them on, and then after they dry real well, I take a sharp blade and I just trim as close as I can to get everything flush. Now, when the 2 halves were done, I needed to apply I guess what you would call a backing. And I just used another piece of leather, same color leather here. I trimmed a piece of sufficient size. I glued it on one half, or on the cover of one half, let it dry really well, and then I flipped it over and glued the other side. And here I am gluing down the flip side. I used a little piece of chipboard to smear the glue, and then I put a whole bunch of weights on top to really get a good connection. Next, I took a little piece of leather to form a strap just to sort of hold it in place. There you go. That is a mini DM screen. It's about this big, 3.5 inches tall, 5 inches wide, and it opens up like this, and then the inner pieces open up, and there's your screen. Of course, it's looking at it this way, but here's a top view. And these all move on leather, so it's very flexible. But when you're all said and done, just close it up, buckle the top piece here, throw it in your bag, and you're done. And it's very light. It probably weighs, I'm bad about doing this, that weighs maybe a pound, I'm guessing. Not heavy at all. But there you go. I hope you like the instructions I gave you on how to make these. Unfortunately, these pieces from the hardware store do come in a fixed size, 3.5 by 5 inches. I didn't see any in a different size. So if you want to make one bigger, either longer or maybe taller, you're going to have to come up with a different material. But I do like this 3/8 inch thickness. It just seems to be the perfect size for this. Now, the leather, this was nothing but fake vinyl, leather pattern, but it's vinyl that you can get. I got it at Hobby Lobby. I bought half a yard of it for like $7. And I don't have it with me, but the roll I've got enough to probably make another 7 or 8 of these if I really wanted to. But it works really well. Glue holds it well. And I like the look of it. Now, let me open it up and show you. What I haven't done on the inside yet, because I'm still trying to figure it out. Right now, it's just a block view of my iPad for my players. But you will notice there are 4 spaces here for you to put, tables or whatever you need to do. What I'm thinking about doing is going to a craft store and looking for like some inexpensive whiteboards, the little portable ones that, like you could stick on a locker or maybe on a door. And, try to find those cheap and then cut out a 3.5 by 5 inch piece out of 4 of them glue them on there, and then they would be, erasable and all that. Or I could find some small metal sheets and glue those on, and then I could use magnets to connect. I don't know. There's lots of ways you could do it, and I still haven't figured out what I'm going to do with those panels yet, those 4 panels, but they will be used. So anyway, I hope you like it. It's nothing. It's not. It's if you sit it on the table, somebody's gonna want to know what it is because it kind of has that look of like a journal or a spell book. I'm gonna be gluing some pieces on. I used the wrong glue that's not sticking to the leather, so I'm probably gonna super glue these little finial type things on. I got 8 of these for $1.49. They're little metal. They may be plastic, but they feel metal. And very thin ornaments for the sides and stuff like that, just to make it look more like a spell book. So anyway, that is this week's project. I hope you like it. I hope you make one. If you make one, I'd love to see your version of it. By the way, the leather that they had about 10 or 15 different colors and patterns of leather, different animals. It's all fake, but I went with this dark brown, I don't even know what this was called, but I like the look of it. So just keep that in mind. You don't have to make one just this color. They have all kinds of vinyl faux leather that you can get. All right, I would love to see your version of this. If you have any questions, post them below and I will address the questions. Please remember to like this video if you liked it. If you didn't like it, that's okay. Give it a thumbs down. I would ask that you come and visit the Tabletop Engineer Facebook page and join. We have a lot of discussions over there. I sometimes give live events, and I share things that just don't make it to the channel. And if you're a Bexham's Bazaar magazine subscriber, thank you. If you're not, I would love to have you as a subscriber. It's $2 a month. Go to patreon.com/Bexham's Bazaar. That's it. This is DM Jim. I'll see you next week for another crafting episode. Take care.